win against Baltimore, and somehow Pittsburgh finds ways to win. It makes no sense. You look at every number in the book; they should not be 6-3.
They're outgained in all 9 games this year, right?
Exactly. It makes no sense.
And they're 6-3.
They're a statistical anomaly how they're 6-3. But with the Browns win over Baltimore, coming back home, I asked Earl this question as a lifelong 35-year-old Browns fan. I asked G. Bush and Jason yesterday. I'm curious what you guys think. And it's maybe prisoner of the moment to an extent. But where does this game rank on the most anticipated regular season games for the Browns since they returned to Cleveland in '99?
It's way up there.
What you mean?
On the regular season.
Regular season,
You
yes.
didn't have
Regular
that in your morning notes or your night note, your rundown.
Then I forgot,
night.
but it was regular season is the question, yes.
And so I was going to say, well, it's not in the top 5 for me because the playoff games.
Yeah, scratch playoff. This is regular season games.
However, I think it's way up the list.
It's up there, Brad.
And I think,
way up
and
there.
I think it's higher than the Browns versus Steelers. It was in week 16, 17, last game of the season.
No, that was the last week of the season. You had to win to get in the playoffs.
But the Steelers didn't play anybody.
I know, but you still had to win.
They played. They didn't play their backs. They didn't. Ben Roethlisberger didn't play. They played Mason Rudolph.
With the Browns' history and it hadn't been in the playoffs forever, I think that's prisoner of the moment.
I think that this game could really be like, it can shoot up the charts even more depending on what happens in the Thursday night game.
I agree with that because if Cincinnati beats Baltimore,
this
is for sole possession for first place.
Yeah.
So that being at week 11, you're 2/3 of the way through the season. If Cincinnati wins on Thursday night, then I think this is definitely top 3.
No, it's in Baltimore.
Okay. I don't think that's going to matter. I still think they can beat Cincinnati.
Oh, they certainly can win, but they're without both starting defensive ends.
Yeah, no,
T. Higgins is playing. T. Higgins
is out too. Yeah, they're certainly handcuffed, but so are the Browns.
I think they're going to win though, but we'll see. Yes, I mean, by the way, if the Browns beat the Steelers and the Bengals beat the Ravens, right? You'll have all 4 teams within a game of each other, and the Browns will be in first place, which is insane.
Bananas.
But I think I definitely think it's one of the biggest, certainly. But I can't put it, even though the Steelers were not playing their starters, that game at the end of 2020 was you win, you're in the playoffs.
It was a playoff game for the Browns.
Right.
Yeah.
It was.
So that was bigger, and
I have that one bigger than this one, too. That's why I can't go to, it's the biggest.
And remember, was it 2007, right, the Derek Anderson year?
When they were 10
the Bengals.
Or 9-6, didn't they have to win the last week of the season?
Right.
That was big, too.
Yes.
I asked Earl, and this was Earl's top 3, if he was going with 3 that did not include this Sunday. And he went with 2002, Week 17 versus the Falcons. 2007, Week 16 versus the Bengals, which I think is what you just alluded to, and then the Week 17, 2020 Steelers game. So he had this in the top 3. He had it at number 3.
There was a game where I think 2020 had a couple.
He had number 4, right?
Yeah, no, I didn't include this one in. He had that over the Falcons game. He said
2020, I think the Browns went to Tennessee, and they had both the best records in the AFC, and the Browns went into Tennessee and smoked them. Like, Donovan Peoples-Jones caught a long touchdown pass. Jarvis Landry caught a touchdown pass. The score looked a little closer, but that was the game people were saying the Browns are going to fall apart. They're not real.
The Titans made it close in garbage time.
Yeah, they made it close in
Y'all
garbage time.
all wrong. The most anticipated Browns game was the last game of the season when they lost, where they was 0-15, and they were trying to figure out if they was going to have a parade or not.
That turns my stomach.
That never happened.
About those
They
games.
were thinking about the parade.
I've struck that from the records.
That season never happened. I don't know what you're talking about.
I would say this is the biggest.
Were they 0-16 once?
I would say this is the big. I would say the crowd for this game is going to be as crazy as we've seen for a home game in forever.
How did this game not get flexed?
I thought it was.
So I did a little research on that because I was curious. You have to flex a game 12 days out in advance.
12 days ago, this looked like it could be a monumental
I
game.
And I'm not defending the NFL. I'm just giving you they have to do it 12 days out in advance, and they decided they weren't going to flex last week out because Vegas, who was in primetime again, which hosts the Super Bowl, they're not going to flex Vegas out of primetime. They're trying to showcase that stadium.
That's garbage.
I'm not saying I agree. I'm just
I don't
saying.
think that makes any sense.
There's no other explanation of Vegas that's 3 home Sunday night
reason,
football games this year, and Vegas sucks. There's no other explanation.
I've seen them on prime time. I've seen the Giants and the Jets on prime time
which is a travesty.
The NFL makes a big mistake. Before the schedule comes out, they do this. Let's get Dallas, the Giants,
Always on TV.
The Eagles,
Jay.
the top 4 cities in America, San Francisco,
Chicago.
This year it's Vegas because of the Super Bowl, Chicago.
Washington's
I've
on the
seen
TV a lot, too.
horrible primetime games this year
Jay.
where I'm not even excited.
And
Shame on you. You selfish.
What?
You don't think about the people that got to do the Browns post-game show after the show is over. Thank you for keeping it at 1 o'clock. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
And I get it. The bigger markets have more total fans, but in football in general,
You wanna put the
people want good games.
You want the best product out there.
Exactly.
You
Now-
give me Carolina and Chicago?
That was terrible.
And in
That was
fairness,
I'll watch a preseason game before I
in
watch
fairness,
that.
everybody thought the Jets and Giants would both be good this year.
I get that, but
Why-
that's why you have flex.
But yes,
flex them
change
out.
it.
Flex them out.
And the Raiders, why would you show those games because of the
Okay,
stadium?
Because
That doesn't make any sense.
Antonio
though-
Pierce got something going.
Now
this
the
year.
Raiders are 5-5.
Yeah.
But when they were 2-5 or 3-5,
No.
and that's when they had to make the decision to flex the Browns into that Sunday night. That's just a swing and
Well,
a
the
miss.
Monday night is Eagles-Chiefs,
which is a great game.
so they're not going to take that game out.
No, you would flex
Yeah.
them into Sunday
Oh,
night.
Sunday night, yeah. No,
What
they
is the
did.
Sunday night
They
game?
made the right call. I think
Yeah,
they made
so
the
you
right
can
call.
go to bed early
No,
Sunday.
so I could get back
I
and
thought
see
they
my
only
kids.
flexed Monday night. They flex Sunday night?
No, you can't flex Monday. You can only
No,
do
Yeah,
it
it's
Sunday.
only
It's
Sunday.
only Sunday.
All right, I'm
Sunday
out of my mind. What's the Sunday night game?
I'm looking up right now.
It's not good.
The Sunday night game this week. That's this week. I gotta go next week. Ugh.
Jeez, Mike, pull it together.
It's not good.
Minnesota at Denver.
Yeah.
Josh Dobbs in primetime, baby.
Now,
Dobbs in prime
NBC
time.
kind of backed into one here.
Well, Jay
because
Jetter's gonna be
Minnesota
back.
and Denver have both turned their seasons around. They're both in
Yeah,
contention.
but they're both mediocre teams.
We think
Yeah.
they are, but you know
Yeah.
what? One thing that struck me last
Jay
night when I was
Jetter's
watching
back.
Denver, sometimes one bad meal can ruin it for you ever going back to a restaurant. When they gave up 70 to a Miami team that hasn't beaten a good team
Russell
this year.
Wilson's played decent this
Russell Wilson was very efficient yesterday.
year. He's been
Yeah,
much
well-
better
and their
this year.
defense has been phenomenal.
Yeah, that's true. He's
Phenomenal.
been much better. We've kind of
We did
pushed
blow
him
them off.
away
We
after
said,
last year.
we thought, hell, they're going to start trading everybody.
Right, but
and
he's
they
played
stuck
better.
around.
That
and-
slick hair dude
Your
is
boy-
back. The
your
slick
boy
hair
Russell
is back.
Wilson. Are you still hating on Russell Wilson?
I never hated him. He's a great guy. He's not a great quarterback. so I said-
I'll tell you this, and this is why I'm really
stand on
fascinated
it.
about the season moving forward. Is the quarterback play across the league has been down, even the great ones. Patrick Mahomes hasn't looked that good.
He had a flu game.
We see what the Bills is 5-5, right? You look at it across the board. The Cleveland Browns have something that could be special brewing, because if you look at what the Browns are doing and you look at Deshaun Watson, and if he continues to get better with more reps, with more practice, with more games, that confidence begins to roll. The best thing that can happen is the Browns say, oh, we definitely got a peaking franchise quarterback who is now playing his best football, and he's now in the rhythm and he's back. If you look at it across the league, it's as wide open as I've seen it.
You know,
Jacksonville and Buffalo and all the teams that were supposed to be good, they haven't been lighting the world on fire.
Well,
I will say
Jacksonville
this.
is 6-3.
Yeah.
They looked terrible, though, last
They
year.
got
They got
Sunday.
Destroyed.
I will say that all 7 teams that end up making the playoffs in the AFC can all probably go to the Super Bowl.
That's crazy.
You know, I mean, think about it right now. I mean,
That's nuts.
Who's a team
Crazy.
in the AFC that you can't make a case? Like, I can make a case. I can't make a case for the Steelers going to the Super Bowl, personally.
No,
But I
don't
can
know.
make
No,
a
but
case.
when you look at where they're positioned,
Right, I know. But for me personally,
they're not going
but
to
they're
the
doing
Super
it with smoke and mirrors.
Right.
They're not going
but
to the
in the
Super Bowl.
in the North, I think assuming
The
health,
Ravens, Bengals, and Browns
could all go to the
absolutely,
Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
The Dolphins could. I know they haven't been good against great teams, but they still could go to the Super Bowl.
and they're going to get healthy here.
Right. Obviously, the Chiefs can. Even though they were terrible this past week, I still think Jacksonville can. That's 6 teams right there. Who am I forgetting? I still
Buffalo,
think-
don't knock Buffalo out of the race.
I was about to say, I still don't
I don't
rule
wanna
out
see them.
Buffalo.
Because guess what?
I wanna
if they
see them.
get in as a wild
I
card,
don't-
would
Yeah.
anybody want to play them
No,
in round
no,
one?
I don't.
I wouldn't.
Now,
Right.
and by the way, is it a possibility Houston Texans make the playoffs?
1,000%.
Right now,
They're
they're
in-
in.
They
they're
in
gonna
7th
win
place
their-
right now.
They could end up winning their division if Jacksonville
They
ends up
could.
stinking it up like
And
they did
Stroud looks
Sunday.
phenomenal.
And I don't want to play them either.
CJ Stroud's rookie
Well, we
of
got
the
to
year.
play them at the end of the year.
Oh, forget Rookie of the Year. Could he
He's
win
in
He's
the
about to win
MVP.
MVP.
I think he's in the MVP
I don't think he's the
conversation.
MVP right now, but
That's
he's in the
crazy.
conversation.
Listen, his trajectory the last couple of weeks is going like this. If he continues to do what he's doing,
Go Bucks.
I watched.
He's gonna work his way into that MVP talk.
This week was the first time I watched him play a whole game, and I was beyond impressed.